But
Nah, it's gonna happen.
let's see
He ain't
what
playing.
we have. One more note here. This one was a Twitter DM. It says, "What is up with the Celtics? Is this just a bump in the road, or are we already derailed? Time for a new coach in Boston?" Question mark. Rick from Foxborough. So this was I was basically talking Celtics on Twitter and ended up getting this in my DM here. So this is I think in a response to the Jaylen Brown calling out the team. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, Ben, you mentioned it to us before the game that Brown was upset at his team last night, and they need to play better, and they should be ashamed of how they played, and they need to step up their play. He's absolutely right. The Celtics need to play better. I think I don't want to build excuses into this season so far, but do you think that the Miami Heat need a new head coach? I mean, Eric Spoelstra is one of the best coaches in the NBA, and the Heat are struggling at the start of the season. They're well below 500. They're not in a position where they're going to make the playoffs. I think they might be in position to get into that play-in tournament, but they're struggling. They're like 5 games under 500. So the Celtics, who have had COVID issues, just like the Heat, you haven't had Tatum for a couple of weeks. Kemba Walker didn't play for the first month of the season. He's still trying to figure things out. The one good thing I'll say about Kemba, he actually looks healthy. He's just not hitting his shots. So it's more of a basketball thing than it is a health thing, which is actually a positive. You were missing Robert Williams and Tristan Thompson for a few games early in the year because of COVID. And now they're also at the point where they kind of have too many guys. Now that Peyton Pritchard's back, they're going to get Marcus Smart back pretty soon. You're going to have so many guys that Steven's still figuring out the rotation. What's going to happen is that Danny Ainge needs to make that trade and use the trade exception that he got in the Gordon Hayward deal and go get another player that's going to be an impact player for the Celtics. He talked about getting size and getting shooting. I don't know if that's for just one player or if that's going to be a package deal coming back. He's probably going to use the player trade exception and then also add a couple of players to kind of free things up on the roster, because Stevens is trying to find minutes for all these different guys, and he just can't find this solid lineup. Because the other night against, I think it was the Clippers, Carson Edwards came out of nowhere and had 16 points. Peyton Pritchard was great at the start of the year. Since he's coming back from his injury, he hasn't been quite as consistent, but still has put up some good numbers, shoots the ball well, good ball handler. Jeff Teague's been kind of all over the place. Tristan Thompson's now finally playing, I think, the way that they want him to play and the way that they know he's capable of. But it's just been a weird start to the year. I'd rather them go through this now and figure this out now than in April. So to say that Stevens should be fired, I wouldn't do that now. Now, if they get to the playoffs and lose in the first round, and it's obvious that they didn't bring the full effort that they were supposed to, then I'd think about it. I'd definitely think about getting rid of Stevens. But I think at this point right now, because of the schedule, because of all the different things that happen to the team, I'm not ready to say that Coach Stevens should be on the chopping block just yet.
One other thing I would add to that is people have been talking about replacing Stevens as far as since last year, or even like the season before, let's say. And if anything, right now with COVID going on, and having an interview process would be absolutely terrible. I think he has a lot of potential as a coach, but he hasn't been able to get him over the hump to where they really are going to be true championship contenders. And I don't know what exactly the team is lacking at this point, but I don't think that scratching the coach is going to help right now.
Yeah, I mean, Brad Stevens is not the issue right now. And I would tell Rick to go back and not only subscribe to our show, but go ahead and watch some of the old episodes when we said that the Celtics team is going to take a little bit of time to come together before they're actually going to play good. I even went back and said that most NBA teams, you're not going to see the best of them until the second half of the season after this faux all-star game that we're about to have or whatever. So after that, you might start to see some of these teams gel together. And to bring up Pat's point, look at all the injuries that we've had, guys coming back into the rotation, guys getting out of the rotation. So that means just no mesh. They've had no time to mesh. Obviously Marcus Smart's going to be coming back soon. Tatum and Brown, just starting to mesh with Kemba coming back. So I just think, this team needs a little bit more time. Obviously, it was a short off season. I just would say Rick needs to kind of chill out, give this team a little bit more time. And Brad Stevens is not the issue. Brad Stevens is not the issue. At some point, the players have to play. He has a great scheme. He always draws up great plays out of timeouts. To me, that is the key of a great NBA coach, is out of timeouts, are they always drawing up something to get their players in position to score or to be able to play like a defense good, and he's always doing that routinely. So Brad Stevens is a great coach. I really don't see him as the problem. I really see just the problem right now is that they haven't got the mesh right now. And like I said, arguably one of your best players, Kemba, is just coming back off an injury. He's looking a little bit rusty right now. He needs to come back and get his legs underneath him, get that rust knocked off, get his shot back in there. And once he starts meshing with Tatum and Brown, this team's going to take off. So Rick, come back and email during the playoffs when we're like the 2-3 seed in the playoffs and we're looking hot, man.
Good stuff. Hey guys, I'm gonna put on the Comeback Sports theme here and kind of lead us out for the night. So I'll catch up with you guys later. Let you wrap up the show, but great talk, guys.
Great job, Ben.
Thanks so much, Ben. And folks, continue to send us questions. We're obviously going to try to answer them. Whether it's in the live chat on our YouTube page, make sure you subscribe to Comeback Sports. When you watch us live on YouTube, make sure you go in the live chat, submit questions on Twitter, submit questions to Comeback Sports, the YouTube channel. We're always looking forward to that. You can email us at Comeback Sports as well, so make sure you do that because we always love answering questions. It's just a nice part of the show that we can do that. You don't just have to listen to me and Brandon talk too much about 10 topics. We can kind of get some other topics in there as well. So that was great to hear from you. So another great show, Brandon. Thanks so much, man, for being here with me. And folks, thank you so much for joining with us. Brandon, your final thoughts before we sign off.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, now with the NFL season over, I think we're going to have some wide range of topics going forward on the show. And we're going to get to talk about some, fan interactive topics like who's the greatest basketball player of all time. And obviously that topic we talked about with Tom Brady about, is Tom Brady the greatest sports champion of all time? So we've got some great topics coming for you going forward. So, hey, come back next week and make sure you subscribe.
Yeah. It's always good to have the great NFL content. It gives us so much. But now that the NFL season's over, like you mentioned, it's going to free us up for some other stuff, which I know we're definitely excited to talk about. Folks, we'll see you next time on Comeback Sports. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Make sure you subscribe, you follow us on Twitter, and submit those questions. We'll see you next Wednesday. Have a good night, everybody.